Okay guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and now today we are going to be talking about the ARK 2 Trike. Now I was really happy when I saw this because I don't know about you guys, but I've always thought that herbivores in ARK 1 have never really had that much love. I could be wrong about that, but I've just always felt like that, so I was really happy to see this stuff. Now, ARK 2 is getting closer and closer, and I know so many of you guys are excited as I am for this. So let's go into the information about the ARK 2 Trike and see what the conversation was. Now, if you guys do enjoy this video, as always, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like, it really supports the channel so much. And don't forget to subscribe as well if you don't want to miss out on your daily ARK news. So let's hop in about this here from Craig Brown, or Craig Brown, who works at Wildcard on ARK 2. So he said, "Don't underestimate me. I'm hashtag Team Carnivore, but I also like variety. And the Hydrosaurus are underrepresented, especially compared to theropods. And Syntac, you guys know, I'm sure most of you will know that watch this video, a very, very big YouTuber in the community, said, super OP herbivores are great for the game. What they lack in teeth, they make up for in strength. The ARK Edition mods bring some nice balance with its Brachiosaurus and Dino. Would like to see some more of this in ARK 2. Craig Brown came back and said, "Why I can't say much. I will say that you'll likely enjoy the new Trike." Syntac did reply saying, "Dope. I love the Triceratops in general. Always wanted them to be more than a berry gatherer in ARK." And to be honest, I really agree with this so much, because I feel like, you know, whenever you've seen battles like dinosaur battles and stuff in the past, I know the T-Rexes should always be stronger than the Triceratops in some ways, but there was always a great battle. I'm talking about like I was actually there back watching the battles myself, but you guys know what I mean. From what we know, there was always some awesome battles there and how they sort of fought each other off. And I just feel like, you know, herbivores in ARK 2, it'll be really nice to have that kind of balance, because when you reach a certain point, who wants a herbivore in the game? And I completely always understand that, you know, that you're going to want the big scary carnivores, but wouldn't it be nice to have a really big reason to use a trike in the game as like a battering ram or something? So it's awesome to see Craig Brown go on about this. I can't wait to see the new trike. Let me know what you guys think about this. Also, if you didn't know, you can go and download the ARK Editions mod. It's been around for a very long time in the community, and if you are going to be enjoying ARK for the last few months before the release of ARK 2 and you want to see a little bit of the balance with the herbivores, then go check this out, because it could be a good beginning before we see the new and improved trike in ARK 2. Now I can't wait not just to see the trike, but just seeing all the different types of new dinos that are going to be coming in this with their new abilities. One thing that it is confirmed is that the trike is confirmed, so you know, you don't have to worry. That's going to be one of the dinos coming to the game. I think it was pretty obvious, but again, that does kind of confirm it there. So what I wanted to go back to was something, I'm not saying it has to be completely like this, but if you guys remember, if you've been obviously in the ARK community, you will know there's been a few creature submissions where Wildcard have done 2 posts now on, like, you know, voting for what dino you want to like come to the game. We had the Dinopithecus come to the game, and then what was the other winner? Was it was the bat, wasn't it? It was definitely the bat. Yeah, that was the other winner, the Desmondus, and this Titanoceratops came very close to actually come to the game, and it was the Anti-Giga Siege Beast. And I like the idea of this. So this person, I just thought I'd read this through, and we can kind of pick through bits that we think would be awesome for the ARK 2 trike. Let me know what you think that the trike should have, what abilities in ARK 2 to make it that much better. I know they're probably already there, but it'd be nice to see what some of the things you guys say in the comment section. So the submission was for the Titanoceratops. Now it's not going to be called that; it's just going to be called the Trike, or what will be called Trike in game. But is a massive powerhouse, capable of easily destroying defenses, breaking through metal dino gates like a battering ram, ignoring all placed traps, and fighting off ARK's deadliest theropod, the Giga. Through a labor of love, I've designed not just a dossier, but in the actual game in quality concept art for this animal. So these are some of the abilities. So its main 2 damage abilities are dealing high amounts of damage to both creatures of higher drag weight, scaling up as the drag weight scales, and dealing high damage to gates and doors up to metal and behemoth gates. The trade-off for dealing damage to metal is that it must consume raw metal, around 5 to 10 metal per 5 seconds. It allows a 30-second window to damage metal and has a cooldown that lasts for around a minute. Though a stance change makes it slower as a trade-off, similar to the Magmasaur's smelting ability minus the smelting. While it does do mediocre damage to metal structures in this state, it does high amounts of damage to doors and dino gates, making it effectively a battering ram. As for its Giga Slaying abilities, it will be able to resist its Gnash and deal higher damage to it than other creatures due to its increased drag weight damage. It's also particularly well protected from having from the front, having high damage resistance to both its frill and legs. This paired with the anti-bleed effect and high health makes it a great defense against ARK's largest and deadliest theropod. Its other prime function is acting as a tower shield for large dinos up to the height of a Rex. It's great for effectively tanking huge amounts of bullets and explosives with little damage. In addition, when multiple, let's say, just go for trikes here, are near, they gain a herd buff that increases the damage resistance and gives a buff to nearby saddleless dinos. It, however, does not affect the dinos with natural armor like the Reaper and Shadowmane. It can also pivot in a place similar to a rock golem, allowing it to defend against attackers from any angle. Other major abilities of the TRIKE ARK 2 are the resistant to all placed traps such as bear traps or spike walls. Explosive placed on the ground also deal less damage to it. When the herd bonus is active, the eye spots on its thrill appear and light up similar to the plate change on the TLC Stego. The rider sits on a saddle latched onto the back of its frill, allowing it for a high vantage point across the battlefield. I'm still toying with the concept of adding a second rider on its back as a protective gunner. As for gathering, it's a fairly basic gatherer of wood, thatch, and berries, but has a very high weight and health, making it a good, safe pack animal. The specific attacks are a horn swing that does a high amount of damage, a stance change that transitions it into its metal damaging mode, and a short ram attack that thrusts the animal forward for a high knockback attack, good for pushing away enemies and damaging doors. In the wild, the Titanoceratops, obviously, we're talking about the trike, can be found around mountainous regions, usually around high concentrations of metal, either alone or in a small group. They are fairly peaceful unless provoked, or attack similar to dire bears. They can easily contend with many of the region's predators like Rexes and Sabertooths, although they're ignored by most small predators. They will ignore you while wearing ghillie, however they will become aggressive if approached too closely. In the wild, they also cannot damage metal but can damage stone structures. That's in the wild, not when tamed. So taming, in order to tame a Titanoceratops, you will either need a catapult or cannon to knock it out, likely on the back of a parasaur or placed in a trap. They're not difficult to kite as they're not very fast, so that can be good and less expensive option. But for those looking for a trap, they'll need to use metal structures. Bear traps are ill-advised as they essentially destroy them when walking over them and completely ignore the effects. As for taming food, you will need exceptional kibble or various crops and berries. They need a lot of food and narcotic, so pack a fair bit, as this tame can wake up fairly quickly. Once tamed, they will act as a beast of burden, a powerful siege beast, a living battering ram, a counter to various large creatures including gigas, and potentially a boss fighter. Some of the weaknesses: while the Titanoceratops is exceptionally powerful, it has its drawbacks. It can only fit through behemoth gates as its size is on par with Rex or Mammoth. I'm not saying this is what I want the trike to be in the actual release of ARK 2, but I kind of like a lot of these ideas. It's particularly slow, and while it can turn in place, it still can't turn out the fast amounts like raptors. In addition, it's very slow swimmer and is not advisable to use around wet environments. Its backside is also fairly unprotected, with a saddle even with a saddle, hitting it from behind will deal massive amounts of damage to it. It's also very vulnerable from above and can be taken out easily with flyers. The rider perched on the high saddle is vulnerable from being grabbed by flyers and to sniper fire, being particularly easy target. Is also fairly weak to fire weapons, flamethrowers, fire arrows, wyverns, and fire pitch catapults, with deals of lots of damage to the creature more so than others. So I really wish the artwork was here to show you guys what it was like, but it sounds really, really awesome. And one thing I just love about, there's so many awesome ideas to pick from this, and I really feel like you could pick so many from this to turn the ARK 2 Trike into something that is actually going to be a force in the new game. We want to see different types of dinos, especially herbivores, having more of a reason to tame in the game, not just as a starter tame. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. It's good to hear. ARK 2's getting closer. Work is getting done. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.